Specification for the qualification of welding inspectors, AWS B5.1. Abstract. These standards define the qualification requirements to qualify welding inspectors. The qualification requirements for visual welding inspectors include experience and satisfactory completion of an examination, which includes demonstrated capabilities and proof of visual acuity. The examination test the inspector's knowledge of welding processes, welding procedures, non-destructive examinations, destructive tests, terms, definitions, symbols, reports, welding metallurgy, related mathematics, safety, quality assurance, and responsibilities. Forward. This is the second edition of this specification. The first edition superseded in part AWS QC1 standard for certification of AWS welding inspectors. AWS QC1 sets the requirements for the AWS Certified Welding Inspectors program. AWS B5.1 establishes a basic definition of a welding inspector, and it is referred by QC1. Companies or individuals wishing to establish in-house or internal qualification programs for inspection personnel may use AWS B5.1 as the basis for their program. Companies or individuals wishing to obtain AWS certification must follow the requirements in AWS QC1. Individuals who comply with AWS B5.1 but not the AWS QC1 should not be labeled as AWS certified welding inspectors. Only individuals who comply with AWS QC1 as determined by AWS may obtain that title. This second edition includes revisions to nearly every area of the specifications, duties, capabilities, education, experience, and testing. An alternative to taking the senior welding inspector exam has been added, see 7.3. The Qualification and Certification Committee of the American Welding Society was formed in 1973. AWS QC1 standard for a certification of AWS welder inspectors was first published in 1975. The first examinations for the certification of AWS certified welding inspector were conducted in the spring and fall of 1976. Over 30,000 individuals have met the requirements of AWS QC1 worldwide since the start of the program. The last revision to AWS QC1 was published in 2007 and was approved by the American National Standards Institute. In 1996, the AWS Qualification and Certification Committee was divided into two freestanding committees. The Personnel and Facility Qualification Committee is now responsible for creating ANSI American National Standards for welding personnel and welding facility qualification requirements. The AWS Certification Committee is now responsible for creating certification programs from these and other organized standards. The purpose of welding inspection is to determine if a weldment meets the acceptance criteria of a specific code, standard, or other documents. The welding inspector must be thoroughly familiar with welding processes, welding procedures, welder qualifications, materials, their limitations of weld test, be able to read drawings, prepare and keep records, prepare and make reports, and make responsible judgments. For welding inspector to be effective, the activities performed should be consistent with the requirements and technical and ethical principles. Scope. Requirements. These standards establish the requirements for qualification and defines the body of knowledge applicable to welding inspector personnel. Levels. There are three levels of qualification: Associate Welding Inspectors AWI, Welding Inspector WI, and Senior Welding Inspector SWI. Responsibility. Qualification of AWI, WI, SWI personnel to the requirements of this standard does not eliminate need to an employer to determine the ability of the individual to perform the duties involved in particular welding inspection assignment. Employer. This standard is intended to supplement the requirements of an employer code or other documents and shall not be construed as a preemption of the employer's responsibility for the work or for the performance of the work. Terminology definitions. As used in the standard, the word shall denotes a requirement, the word should denotes a guideline, and the word may mean it is permissible. As used in this specification, the word welders includes welding operators, brazers, and brazing operators. Units. This standard does not require units of measure, therefore, no equivalents or conversions are contained except when they are cited in examples. Safety. Safety and health issues and concerns are beyond the scope of the standard. Some safety and health information is provided, but such issues are not fully addressed herein. Safety and health information is available from the following sources: American Welding Society, ANSI 49.1 Safety in Welding, Cutting and Allied Processes, AWS Safety and Health Fact Sheets, other safety and health information on the AWS website. Material or equipment manufacturers, material safety data sheets supplied by materials manufacturers, operating manuals supplied by equipment manufacturers, applicable regulatory agencies. Work performed in accordance with this standard may involve the use of materials that have been deemed hazardous and may involve operators or equipment that may cause injury or death. This standard does not purport to address all safety and health risks that may be encountered. The user of this standard should establish an appropriate safety program to address such risks as well as to meet applicable regulatory requirements. ANSI Z4.951 should be considered when developing the safety program. Reference documents. ANSI Z4.1 Safety in Welding, Cutting and Allied Processes, AWS A3.0 Standard Welding Terms and Definitions. Terms and definitions. Terms used in the standards are defined below. All other terms are defined by AWS A3.0 Standard Welding Terms and Definitions. Active supervision. Direct on-site or readily available supervision by the AWI, SWI in the form of necessary instructions to ensure that the AWI can perform specific evaluation as specified by the employer. Candidate, the person attempting to qualify to this standard. Certification, the act of determining, verifying and attesting in writing to the qualification of a personnel in accordance with specified requirements. Qualification, demonstrated training, skill, knowledge and experience required for personnel to perform the duties of a specific job or functions, typically demonstrated by passing a performance test. Levels of qualification. The standard recognizes 3 levels of qualification for welding inspection personnel. These levels are: Associate Welding Inspector AWI, a person meeting the qualification requirements of A5.1 and Class 6. Welding Inspector WI, a person meeting the qualification requirements of 5.2 and Class 6. Senior Welding Inspectors SWI, a person meeting the qualification requirements of 5.3 and Class 6. Functions. Duties. AWI. All inspections performed by the AWI shall be made under the active supervision SWI or WI. The SWI or WI shall maintain the responsibility for determining if welded assemblies conform to workmanship and acceptance criteria. WI. The WI shall be able to supervise and train AWIs. The WI shall be able to perform inspection to applicable procedures and processes. The WI shall be able to conduct audits of suppliers and organizations provide materials or services to the project. The WI shall ensure the work performed and associated The records are maintained and confirm the requirements of the applicable standards or other contract documents. SWI. The SWI shall be able to perform inspections, supervise one or more WIs or AWIs, write welding procedures, specifications, test and qualify welders, prepare inspection reports, and review and interpret joining procedures. Capabilities. As specified by qualification levels, the welding inspector shall at a minimum be able to perform the task enlisted in Table 1. This table does not restrict inspectors from performing tasks above their qualification level if their employer determines the inspector has the necessary skills to perform those higher level tasks. Welding inspection capability is based on qualification level. Prepare reports, communicate effectively orally and written, understand the fundamentals of SMAW, SAW, OFW, RW, GTAW, FCAW, GMAW, PAW, SW, ESW, and thermal spraying, soldering, mechanical cutting, thermal cutting, gauging, brazing, braze welding, understanding the fundamentals of VT, MT, UT, PT, RT, LT, quality procedures and quality audits surveillance. Understand the fundamentals of welding metallurgy, understand the welding symbols and drawings, interpret drawings. Standards. Verify base material compliance, verify filler metal compliance, verify filler metal storage handling compliance, verify inspection records compliance, verify proper documentation compliance, verify base material and filler metal compatibility, certify documented result compliance, verify procedure qualification records compliance, verify quality welding procedure compliance, verify NDE procedures compliance. Procedure qualification. Verify welding equipment appropriateness, verify edge preparation compliance, verify joint geometry compliance, witness procedure qualification, verify welding procedure qualification compliance, review welding procedure for compliance with code and contract requirements, write welding procedures. Performance qualification, witness welder performance qualification, verify welder qualification compliance, verify welder qualification records compliance, request welder performance requalification. Production. Verify welder qualification appropriateness, verify production welding compliance, verify personal qualifications. Inspection. Perform visual examinations, verify examination procedure compliance, review examination results compliance, develop visual inspection procedures before, during, and after welding, provide NDE inspection planning and scheduling before, during, and after project, review welding inspection reports, verify implementation of non-destructive and destructive evaluation methods, prepare visual inspection requirements, prepare NDE requirements, report investigation results of quality inspection disputes, prepare destructive testing requirements. Safety. Be knowledgeable of applicable safety requirements. Quality assurance. Perform audits and surveillance. Implement weld inspection quality assurance plans. Prepare welding inspection quality assurance plans. Prepare base material control requirements. Prepare weld consumable control requirements. Prepare audit and surveillance plans. Prepare documentation control requirements. Project management. Review contract requirements. Review vendor proposal compliance. Prepare weld inspection bid specifications. prepare purchase specifications, determine vendor capacity and capability, select vendor, training. Develop and provide a training program for the AWI. Develop visual inspection training. Verify implementation of visual inspection training. Develop and provide a training program for the WI. Provide technical leadership for welding inspectors. Verify implementation of quality assurance training. Provide guidance and direction to inspectors for maintaining and upgrading their individual qualifications. Evaluation. Evaluate AWI's performance. Evaluate WI's performance. Perform inspection results trend analysis. Examination and experience requirements. Associate Welding Inspector and Associate Welding Inspector AWI shall be a high school graduate or hold a state or military approved high school equivalence diploma e.g. GED, shall have a minimum of 2 years experience in an occupational function with a direct relationship to weldments fabricated to national or international standard and directly involved in one or more of the areas listed under 5.5. Alternative to 5.1.1, 5.1.2, the supporting documentation is a copies of transcripts or letters of reference specifying earned credit hours of training may be substituted as follows. 8th grade level of schooling with a minimum of 4 years work experience in welding functions as defined under 5.5, less than a 8th grade level of schooling with a minimum of 6-year experience in welding functions as defined under 5.5, 8th grade level of schooling with a minimum of 1 year of vocational education and training in a welding curriculum and minimum of 3 years experience in welding function as defined under 5.5, 2 years post high school education in welding curriculum or engineering, technology engineering or physical science and minimum of 6 months experience in welding functions as defined under 5.5. Welding inspector. A welding inspector WI shall be high school graduate or hold a state or military approved high school equivalency diploma e.g. GED, shall have a minimum of 5 years experience in occupational functions that has a direct relationship to welded assemblies fabricated to national or international standards and may be directly involved in one or more of the areas listed under 5.5. Alternatives to 5.2.1 and 5.2.2 with supporting documentations, e.g., copies of transcripts or letters of reference specifying earned credit hours or training may be substituted as follows. 8th grade level schooling with a minimum of 9 years work experience in welding functions as defined under 5.5, less than a 8th grade level schooling with a minimum of 12 years of work experience in work function under defined 5.5. A maximum 4 years of a post high school education may be substituted for an equivalent number of years of the required 5 years experience provided studies are relevant to any of the functions as defined under 5.5. Credit in given as below follows. Bachelor or higher degree in welding, 4-year maximum if the degree is welding engineering or welding technology. Associate or higher degree, the 3 years maximum or if the degree is in welding or non-welding related engineering, technology, engineering or physical sciences. Engineering technical school courses, 2-year maximum and only for successfully completed courses in a curriculum that can be or could be applied to one above. Trade vocational courses, 1-year maximum and only for successfully completed courses in the curriculum related to welding that can be or could be applied to one above. Note: courses in a curriculum means courses within a program towards a degree, diploma or certificate to be applied to item 1 above. Successfully completed courses means a completed quarter or semester with credit in that course. Documentation of the number of actual hours completed is necessary prior to notification of actual credit allowed. Senior Welding Inspector. A Senior Welding Inspector SWI shall be a high school graduate or hold a state or military approved high school equivalence diploma (GED). Shall have minimum of 15 years experience in a occupational function that has a direct relationship of welding assemblies fabricated on national or international standards, and shall be directly involved in 3 years or more of the listed area 5.5. Shall have been qualified defined as a WI, alternatively 5.3.1 and 5.3.2 with supporting documentation, e.g. copies of transcripts or letters of reference specifying earned credit hours of trainings may be substituted as follows. A maximum 4 years of post high school education may be substituted for an equal number of years of the required 15 years experience provided studies are relevant to any function described under 5.5. Credit is following as follows. Bachelor or higher degree in welding, 4 years maximum if the degree is in welding engineering or welding technology. Associate or higher degree, 3 years maximum if the degree is in engineering technology, engineering or physical sciences. Engineering technical school courses, 2 year maximum and only for successfully completed courses in a curriculum that can be or could be deployed to one above. Trade vocational courses, 1 year maximum and only for successfully completed courses in a curriculum related to welding that can be or could be applied above one. Note: courses in a curriculum means courses within a program toward a degree, diploma, or certificate to be applied to item 1 above. Successfully completed courses means a completed quarter or semester with the credits in that courses. Documentation of the number of the actual hours completed is necessary prior to notification of actual credit allowed. Documentation. Candidates shall submit verifiable documentation of education and employment. Qualifying experience. Candidates shall submit verifiable documentation of experience is an occupational function with a direct relationship to weldments fabricate or national or international standards and directly involved in at least 3 of the followings. Experience in the development of procedures, inspection requirements, acceptance criteria and specification of our weldments. Experience in planning, control and application of base materials and filler metals in the preparation and completion of production weldments. Experience as a welder, welding operator or tack welder in fabrication, manufacturing or construction. Experience in the detection and measurement of weld discontinuities by application of visual or other non-destructive examination evaluation process to a written procedure. Experience in planning, control and application of repair welding. Experience in the preparation of written procedure for welding, non-destructive evaluation of weldments or destructive test of weldments. Experience in the qualification of welders or welding procedure to verify various codes, standards and specifications. Experience applying welding related codes, standards or specifications. Experience in operational techniques and activities used to fulfill quality control requirements for weldments. Experience in teaching the occupational skills of welding or subjects related to welding, its application, control and material and processes. Examination requirements. The AWI, WI or SWI shall meet the following examination requirements. Visual requirements. AWI, WI or SWI that shall have the ability to read Jaguar number 2 letters or smaller at a minimum distance of 12 inches or equivalent test in at least 1 year with or without correction. AWI, WI or SWI will take a color perception test and shall take a contrast differentiation shades of gray test. Note: near vision acuity test is considered essential to the proper performance of welding examination. Failure to meet the above level of acuity shall be failure to meet the standard. Color perception and shades of gray contrast differentiation as described these as desirable in some specific application but are not considered essential for all examinations. It shall be the employer's responsibility to establish and enforce visual requirements for those AWIs, WIs and SWIs in his or her employ. Written test requirements shall pass each part of the applicable AWI, EWI or SWI examination. The examination includes the following parts: a test on the requirements of a code, standard or specification, a test on fundamental principles include but not limited to welding processes, non-destructive examination, safety, quality assurance, inspector's duty, weld discontinuities, weld symbols, joint design, mechanical properties of metals, and basic on the job mathematics. A test on practical application of welding inspection knowledge including but not limited to welding procedure qualification, welder qualification, mechanical testing drawing and specification compliance, welding examination and non-welding processes. Examination structure. Recommended examination subjects and recommended subject weights are given below. WI AWI examination, code application and percentage of total question. Qualification 25 question, fabrication 25 question, inspection 25 question, reports and records 5 questions, material and design 5 questions. Fundamentals, definitions and terminology 12 questions, welding processes 12 questions, symbols, welding and NDE weld examination 10 questions, welding performance 9 questions, test methods NDE 8 questions, heat control and welding metallurgy carbon and alloy steel 6 questions, welding related calculations 6 questions, duties and responsibility 4 questions, destructive testing 3 questions, cutting 2 questions. Practical applications, welding inspection flaws 34 question, procedure and welder qualification 28 questions, mechanical test and properties 8 questions, NDE 8 questions, utilization of specification and drawings 8 questions. SWI examination, percentage of total question, technical fundamentals, heat, carb control and metallurgy 10 questions, high alloy steel and non-ferrous materials. ND fundamentals, techniques and capabilities, VT, PT, MT, RT, UT 10 questions, welding and allied process 5 questions, destructive testing fundamentals, techniques and apply including groove welds, filled welds and stud welds and welding testing 5 questions, NDE applicability LT 1 question, administrative fundamentals, welding procedure qualification and code compliance, welding personnel qualification and certification, welding inspection and NDE personnel qualification and certification, quality assurance, quality management including 10 questions, quality programs, document control, procurement and supply control, calibration, quality control, process control, statistically quality control, trend analysis, non-conformance controls, auditing and surveillance, corrective actions, record, project management, personnel management and testing programs 5 questions, performance evaluation 5 questions. SWI alternative qualification. Candidate for SWI shall be considered as meeting the examination requirements of 7.2 if they can demonstrate the successful completion of separate education courses or examination that cover in minimum of 90% of the subjects in 7.2. There is no time limit for completion of these courses or examinations. Maintenance of qualification. The WISWI shall demonstrate his or her continuing ability to perform the qualification function. In clause 4, maintenance of qualification shall be no more than 3 years. Here are the reference documents for specification for the qualification of welding inspector, but is included for informational purpose only. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.